Hello and welcome to our daily sketching routine. It is Thursday, October 23rd, 2025, and today's topic, I'm going to be working on this sketch of Icarus. I initially did it in June of this year, and so I'll link to that video. So yeah, I haven't touched it since then, but it popped into my head. But it's gonna be from imagination. I'm just gonna develop the sketch into, like, I would call this it is a sketch, but it's kind of like a layout, as I've been kind of calling some of these things. And it started from like a thumbnail, and then I think I talked about like how to take like a thumbnail and basically lay it out. That's why. But it's a sketch. But then today is also going to be like a sketch, but a more like developed or a more detailed sketch. But before we begin, welcome back if you're returning, and welcome if you're new to the channel. I sketch and post every day, and I use a timer to stay focused and to build a habit. I'll start a 10-minute timer. So when I see this, like I said, I haven't touched this since then. And if we are going to do it from imagination, a few things. I mean, there's all these different approaches. That was like the approach, which was work on a few thumbnails, kind of settle on one. And you can spend more time on it, but I'm okay with it because this is like in my sketchbook. But yeah, I just settled on that, and I did this little grid just to kind of get an idea. It does help. It makes it a little bit more kind of closer to that, or you could just eyeball it. And then once you get here, I think a few things. Either the figure drawing is off. I would have done this in pencil if you're still figuring out, so to speak, like the figure drawing aspect of it. If you get more proficient at doing like the figure drawing. Now sometimes, I mean, like here I use the white to kind of fix things. That's probably what I did, but it also has like a look to it. Yeah, it just depends on your approach. I like to just sketch it in ink. I can actually finish this quite a bit, kind of like here, like keep going with the detail. It'll look a little bit rougher, or you could just keep it kind of simple and then transfer it somehow, either trace over it or digitize it or whatever. But yeah, I'm going to approach it in a way where this is going to be the drawing. I could make it more detailed if I want. And I like to do it in stages. You could look up reference or whatever, but I'm going to make up a lot of it. This head is in perspective, so it's important for me to get the perspective correct because it is in perspective. And so I'm going to, even if I have to like do the construction, in other words, this like I'm doing, I'm going to emphasize the kind of like the perspective of it. And the other thing is, but I'm not going to go like too crazy because it is pen, but of course you can always erase like over it. So my thing is just to kind of get the perspective kind of looking okay. Again, this is just an approach. I would call it a little bit more advanced or maybe intermediate kind of thing. But I just wanted to, I wanted to work on this. So yeah, this is just how I would do it if I were just constructing it. And part of it is squinting at it. There's going to be certain things that I kind of am just going to go with. So for example, like this is just from sketching it. But I'm going to go ahead and just go with it and make it into something kind of like this. And part of this is solidifying the silhouette. So I can actually outline this. And that establishes the silhouette of it right here. And I can outline it because I can always go back in and shade it or whatever, or like use a thicker line. But right now I'm really thinking about, that's why I'm squinting at it. It's like the silhouette of it. Now the silhouette, if you're kind of playing around, you might want to play around more like this to kind of get the silhouette. But like I was happy with it, so I'm going to just go with that. So part of this is like stylizing it. It has to do with the silhouette, so right here, I'm going to go with that. And again, maybe this might have to be erased somehow or just left in there. But I'm going to go with this silhouette right here. I wouldn't rush this part. Kind of like this. I'm just kind of squinting at it. Some of it, again, I'll just go with the, like what I have. Like I don't totally know what the boots or like the shoes or whatever, but this is like the next level of details. So for example, like right here, I'm gonna go ahead and still keep it kind of basic, but give myself some room to make it into something, probably sandals or whatever, like that they have this kind of look. Now this, you can look up something. I would look up sandals. But that's like the sketch of it, or like the layout of it. So I want to get the perspective looking okay. So for example, this is probably kind of like that. Like the form of it is a cylinder. But yeah, if you're not sure about, for example, like how to do the feet, I would do studies. I've done videos about how to draw like the feet, and just, yeah, do your own studies. And you can always leave yourself a little bit of room to fix some things later. Like, don't overthink it. So again, just going with like the silhouette, I'm going to go here and just go with this. So I'm stylizing it. So right here, just gonna outline the hand. Maybe kind of like this. So that got like a little bit weird. I might have to paint over that. But again, I'd rather not worry about it. Just gonna go with that for now. I might be able to fix that with like some shading. As I'm looking at it, it looks like, so maybe I'll just do kind of like this thing, just for the wings, because they're not like real wings. So that would be one way to kind of fix some of this, because maybe it's supposed to be like a harness, I guess. So maybe like right here, and then just kind of shade this. But yeah, I might need to paint over it. And I mean, it's not a bad look to like paint over it with white paint. But come over here and kind of think about the hair. Something kind of like this. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and erase this. You could incorporate that into like the background. Since I already have like that look, I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to use this white marker thing. but you can cover that up more. I'll let that dry for a second. As far as like, again, just the silhouette is pretty important. So if it's kind of there, I'm going to just go with it. And then I can always look up reference. As far as like the wings, I'll probably look up something. So the hand, it's like it wants to go like this. That's like the pinky side. Kind of like that. And then, so I have a couple of these. These are pretty handy, especially if you're using pen and ink, but you can paint around it. And fix it. Once you fix it, you might have to go in with a paint marker, like a black paint marker. So as I'm looking at it, looks like this. I mean, hands are going to be tricky no matter what. So don't feel bad if you have to rework it. It's like I'll leave it at that because like the gesture is okay. Again, you could always redraw it. It just depends on how detailed. Like if you want to make this into like a final piece, you would just kind of, I'm leaning into that look. Otherwise, you would just kind of trace over this just to get the silhouette. That's where I'll leave it for now. You can actually get pretty far, and if you really didn't want to use reference at all, you could start to stylize it even more, make it more simple shapes or something. That'll be it for today. I want to thank you for joining me for our daily sketching routine, and if you enjoy these videos, please support the channel. I appreciate it, and until next time, keep on sketching.